Hello boys and girls, welcome along to Monday. Your learning target for English today is to learn the function of compound sentences and apply this to chapter number 7. Okay, so let's keep this nice and simple. There are 3 different sorts of sentences that you can create. There are simple sentences, something called compound sentences, which we'll look at today, and in addition to that, complex sentences, which we've not been able to look at in detail this year, but you will do when you get into year 6. It's important you understand today what simple and compound sentences are. Don't worry about complex. That's something we can look at next year. Okay, so let's have a look at a simple sentence first of all so we can see an example of what that is. Now, on the screen right now, you should be able to see a chapter summary from chapter 1, 2 and 3 of Kenzuki's Kingdom. The writing that you can see in red are examples of simple sentences. Now, what do you notice about them? They're short, they don't have a huge amount of detail, and most importantly, what is written makes sense on its own. That's crucial. That's really, really important. If you look in a bit more detail at the blue sentences, you'll notice there are commas in the blue sentences, and there are also conjunctions. There might be more punctuation. That's because you're adding more detail and you are turning what was known as a simple sentence, one of the red ones, into something that is more complex, more detailed. Now, a simple sentence typically needs to have a subject, an object, and a verb in it. So basically, it makes sense on its own. We know who the sentence is about, what they're doing, and to what is being done. Okay, so look at the red sentences there. Michael explains that he will tell the reader about how he went missing. That makes sense. It makes sense on its own. No need for any extra information. These are simple sentences. Now, a compound sentence is when you put 2 simple sentences together. I'll say that again. A compound sentence is when you put 2 simple sentences together. It doesn't mean when you add in extra detail, add in extra commas, extra punctuation and things. It's when you put 2 simple sentences together and you link them together by using a conjunction, colon or a semicolon, and what you create is a more detailed single sentence, so one which has a capital letter and a full stop, and it adds basically a little bit more complexness, I guess, to what it is you are writing. So I'll say that again. A simple sentence, add another simple sentence, equals a compound sentence. You can link both sentences together using a conjunction, a colon, or a semicolon. Let's have a look at a few examples. So, if you look above, this is the original summary of chapter 4. Michael grasps onto his football in the sea. He cannot find Stella and is resigned to dying. A mysterious character on a boat rescues him. When he awakes, he is on a beach on an island with Stella. He explores the island, finding many creatures. A mysterious presence lays out food and water for him and Stella. He sees an orangutan and then a man. Now, Michael grasps onto his football in the sea is a simple sentence. We know who it's about, we know what's happening and where. What I've done by adding in the conjunction of and is I'm trying to make my simple sentence a bit more detailed with more information. And by adding and wishes it would be all over turns a simple sentence into a compound sentence. Turns a simple sentence into a compound sentence. Let's look at the next one. If you notice, it says, someone quietly sails over to Michael, and a mysterious character on a boat rescues him. In the original above, when he awakes, it says a mysterious character on a boat rescues him. So a mysterious character on a boat rescues him is an example of a simple sentence. A mysterious character on a boat rescues him. Second and third line down. What I've done before that sentence this time is I've added a bit more detail. Someone quietly sails over to Michael, and a mysterious character on a boat rescues him. So I've added a simple sentence. Someone quietly sails over to Michael. I've added a conjunction and to the former simple sentence to create one compound sentence. Starting to make a bit more sense? Let's have a look at one more example. At the top, it says on the penultimate sentence, a mysterious presence lays out food and water for him and Stella. So again, if we have a look on the bottom, third line from the bottom, on the right-hand side, a mysterious presence lays out food and water for him and Stella. What I've then done is added something called a semicolon. And then I add another simple sentence. He wonders who it could be. And I create one longer compound sentence. So essentially, if you wanted to, you could have these extra simple sentences that you're adding into this additional piece of work on their own, standalone, as sentences that make sense on their own. So you could turn, for example, he wonders who it could be, into a sentence which makes sense with a capital letter and a full stop. Obviously remove the semicolon. Similarly, you can have someone quietly sails over to Michael. That could be a full stop and it could be a sentence on its own. But what we're trying to do is we're trying just to play around with this wonderful English language that we have and make your writing a little bit more detailed by creating compound sentences. Now, I hope that's starting to make sense. All right, it'll be great if you have a go at doing this before you come to the clinics, and then Ms. Falls and I can talk you through in more detail if you need it. What you have down here are 5 different simple sentences. 1, Kenzuki rescues Michael and nurses him back to health. 2, he lives in a vast modernised cave. 3, the orangutans follow Kenzuki. 4, he seems to have found ways to meet every need. 5, Michael teaches him English. Now what I want you to do is add another simple sentence either before or after these sentences you can see on the board to create one compound sentence. So for example, if you look at the very top, it says he lives in a vast modernised cave. That on its own is a simple sentence. What you can do is add another simple sentence before that and a conjunction. So that's 2 simple sentences to make one compound sentence. Remember, a sentence will need 1 capital letter and 1 full stop. Or what you could do with he lives in a vast modernised cave is add a conjunction and another simple sentence to the end of that sentence there to create, again, one single compound sentence. At the very bottom, in purple, there are some conjunctions that you can use. Don't have to use these, but they're probably the easier ones for you to use. You can add these into whatever it is you want to write to create your 5 compound sentences. Okay, so let's just go back over this again. Today, what we're doing is we're creating compound sentences. A compound sentence is made up of 2 simple sentences, which create one compound sentence with 1 full stop and 1 capital letter. Both simple sentences are joined together by a conjunction, or you can use a semicolon or a colon to create one compound sentence. Make sense? Bit tricky this, isn't it? Just you wait till you get into year 6 and talk about complex sentences. It will blow your mind. Very, very best of luck. Give it a go, give it a try. come to the clinics this afternoon with something written down, and I'm sure once Miss Halls and I talk you through, you'll be absolutely fine and dandy. Give it a go, give it a try, and see what you come up with. I'm sure many of you will be very, very successful. Good luck, boys and girls.